Eastern. Let's bring up the footprint chart and see the overall price action, right? So, sorry if I just bring this up again. Price eventually rallies into our zone, right? So we see price kind of rallying into our zone again. We see another aggressive rally, right? So this is where we see the aggressive rally. Now from here, we see actually the same thing again, right? We see the exact same thing again. And this is what's very important to understand. We see a 0 and a 9, right? Let's start over here. We see 0 and 77, which shows that there's no aggressive selling and there's only aggressive buying. So when we only see aggressive buying and we don't see a follow through of higher prices, that indicates our level is a strong level of supply. And that really gives us validation to look for sells, right? So again, we see 0 for 9. So we see an auction wipeout. This is a finished auction because we see a 0 on one side. Now look at how we see 53 by 100 by 222. So that shows you that there's an approximate 4-to-1 ratio. There's 4 times as many market participants hitting the ask than the bid. So there's a lot more aggressive buying than selling at this zone, right? Now from here, notice how we see a slight drop in the volume and we see a drop on the volume over here before we ultimately see lower prices. So what we've seen two tests into this zone, right? We've seen two tests into this zone. All this over here was aggressive buying that was not being rewarded, right? So this means two things. It's buyer absorption, right? Buyer absorption. So the buyers are being absorbed by a passive seller. We see a finished auction. And after a finished auction, we're now looking for a volume decrease, right? We saw the volume decrease, right? So let's go back to the footprint